Last week, when we left off, the heroes of the prophecy were in the Mithril Forge. They had been sent there to complete their second great labor of relighting the Mithril Forge, which they found entailed freeing the Forge Keeper from magical bondage and defeating a Cerberus and its offspring that Lutheria had negotiated, planted there to guard the mine from any interlopers. Along the way, you found that the mines had since become infested with disgusting troglodytes, and there were a centaur in the area, and one in particular that Ina had been searching for a little while. Her husband, Zul. I'm not going to rehash all of that, but after talking with Zul, defeating the Cerberus, freeing the Forge Keeper, relighting the Forge, slaying the troglodytes that attacked to claim the Forge for themselves, our heroes decided it was in their best interest to return to Astoria, let the important people there know that the Forge was relit, and take a much needed rest. After delivering the Pythor's hammer to Vulcan and informing him that the Forge was relit, the heroes went back to the Dragon's Tooth, mended their wounds a little bit, shook the day's adventure off, and fell asleep in their room. At this point, as your eyes slowly close, darkness takes you, the warmth and comfort of a bed, soothing your wounds away. A familiar, unwelcome voice creeps into each of your minds. It begins the same for each of you. The voice coming out of the darkness, seeming out of nowhere.
Well, it seems as though you decided to kill my favorite pet. Unfortunately, that leaves me no one to play with tonight, so I guess I'll just play with you. Now, let me see. I'm going to look into your past. I'm going to dig into your memories. I want to see what makes you tick. Let's see what we find.
Several moments of silence pass.
Well, then let's play.
Cyanus, in your vision, a dark alleyway stretches before you, and you're running frantically, sweat dripping off your brow, fear clutching your heart as the sound of heavy footsteps follows behind you. You vaguely remember getting into a fierce combat on the streets of whatever this unfamiliar city is. The voices shouting at you to stop and come back are also unfamiliar to you, but they sound menacing and ruthless. You search your mind, trying to pick up the pieces, figure out where you are, what happened, where are your friends? And then it dawns on you. Your friends have abandoned you. In the fight, they saw that they were outnumbered, and as you stepped in to give them a moment to reposition, they took the opportunity to flee, leaving you to your fate. And so you rapidly turned, escaped down a side alley, and are now running for your life away from these would-be murderers. As you go to dart around a corner, sliding through the wet street, your feet trip up and your leg spasms a bit, causing you to tumble and slam into the wall. You scramble back up to your feet and continue down the side passageway, going to vault over a low-hanging marble fence. Your hands slip off the top and you fall to the other side. You feel a sharp pain in your side as a rib cracks. You burst up into a door at the end of the alleyway. It's locked. There's no way out of this narrow passageway, and you hear and see the shadowy figures clambering over the wall behind you, moonlight glinting off of their blades. You quickly pull out your thieves' tools and attempt to pick the locked door in front of you. But every time you insert the thieves' tools into the lock, they shudder and snap. And you can't seem to steady your hands, you can't seem to focus your eyes, you can't seem to control your body. And at that moment, you feel a sharp pain wrench through your back, and you hear a metallic thud against the door, and you look down and see a blade piercing you, through you, into the door. Your body twitching spasmodically as your vision fades. Lycus. You find yourself on an unfamiliar ship. No one around except for someone at the helm, a face you don't recognize. And you recognize the coastline of Thylia and the city of Mitros on the horizon. As you pull into Mitros, you step off of the ship and look around. Everybody's sneering at you, calling your name derisively, ridiculing you, some spitting on you, some throwing rotten fruit at you, cursing the name of you and the rest of the heroes of the prophecy for failing to save them. You remember now that in the final battle, when all should have gone well, when you were supposed to stand up to the Titans and claim what you feel to be your true destiny, the party fell apart. Your friends were slaughtered, and you were left alive to carry the grim torch of defeat and shame because Sidon took pity on you. What you soon discover after what seems like years of wandering around is that you are not aging. And you fast forward through time, realizing that you have been gifted unnaturally long life to the point where people have since stopped ridiculing you, stopped mocking you, stopped cursing your name, but rather you are altogether forgotten. A fragment of history, cursed to oblivion. You're on. You find yourself in a very familiar all-white room with small motes of light dancing around you. They come and go as they did before, the whispers fleeting past your ears. But this time something is different. They begin to hum and vibrate and grow brighter, and as they grow brighter, they pick up in speed, whirling around your head ever faster in a dizzying array of lights and sounds. The whispers of torment and sorrow and anger, hatred, despair, and fear grow louder. Although they remain a whispery voice, they grow in volume, swelling in your ears, forming a cacophony of overwhelming sound. Pain racks your ears, confusion racks your brain. You put your hands up to your ears to try and block them out. You run into the white expanse before you, and they follow, swirling around, never ceasing, until you collapse from exhaustion, and they follow you to the ground. I know. You don't remember how you got here. Everything seems a blur before this moment, but you stand alone on a hill in the heartlands of Thylia. You recognize the surrounding area. It is one that is similar to the lands that your tribe typically traverses. Over the next hill, you see a thin wisp of gray smoke rising from the horizon, and as the wind drifts in your direction, you smell burnt wood and some other sickening scent. You continue towards the smoke, drawn to it by curiosity, by some force you don't quite comprehend, and as you rise over the hill and you see what is burning below, you recognize the standards and decorations on all the mostly charred tents of the Afana tribe, the one to which you belong. Scattered amongst the burnt corpses on the ground, you see various pikes ringing around the tribal area. At this distance, you can only surmise that the small circular object on top of each of them seems to be a head. Interspersed between these pikes are flags billowing in the breeze that you know to be those of the Centaur army and the leader that you saw across the river Arcanum outside of Astoria. As your heart racks and fury fills your brain, you whisper a prayer to Thylea, attempting to find the path forward, or how you got here, or what happened. At that moment, the sun warms your skin from behind as it rises up, but it continues to grow warmer and hotter. And as you turn to face the sun, you realize that it is not the sun that is warming you, but a white-hot, billowy flame of fire escaping a golden dragon's mouth as it bears down upon you, teeth bared, wings outstretched, screaming a vicious roar. You whip out your warhammer, prepare yourself for battle, and fall. Once again, you find yourself on a hill, smoke rising over the horizon, drawn forward once again, seeing the same scene, feeling the same thing, the heat on your back. But now you remember, and you turn sooner. The dragon is approaching you now. You have time to prepare yourself, and you engage once again in battle, this time lasting a little bit longer, but still ultimately being torn apart. And so this proceeds over and over and over. Each time you try something different, each time you try a little harder, but you continue to fail. I need everybody to give me a wisdom saving throw. Alright, so Lycus.
14.
Alright. Ina.
5.
You're on.
19?
And Cyanus.
17.
Okay. Now I need a D100 from each of you.
That didn't pass.
Lycus.
36.
Okay. Ina.
65.
You're on.
19? Again?
Okay. And Cyanus.
45.
Alright. 1 second. Alright. Lycus. Once the dream has ended, and you wake up the following day, you suffer from partial amnesia. You know who you are. You know what your abilities are. You know how to function, but everything that happened to you before the dream is wiped from your memory. And this persists for 10 hours.
Good thing I got a whole bunch of fantasy stories in my backpack.
I know. You are trapped in this seemingly endless battle. For 100 hours, you are unconscious.
Cool.
You're on. As these voices rack your ears, blocking out all other sound, you are deafened for 80 hours. Cyanus.
What?
Exactly. Cyanus. Just as your body failed you, your ability to control it waned in your hour of need during your dream. You suffer from uncontrollable tics and twitches. You have disadvantage on attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws that rely on dexterity or strength for 40 hours.
Okay.
So, the dreams fade. You hear a soft feminine chuckle and a twinge of pain as everything becomes dark once more. Your eyes all flutter open. Well, everybody except Ina's eyes flutter open. It is morning. You are in the same room you fell asleep in the Dragon's Tooth Inn. Your friends are around you. There is no one else in the room. You're on your comfortable beds. And you suffer from this temporary affliction. The scene is yours.
Euron's just checking her ears to be like, okay, am I bleeding? Am I bleeding? No. Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't usually have these moments where I party so hard I forget what room I'm in. I really don't remember any of your names. Do forgive me. I'm sure it was a wild event, but I'll be going.
Like, you
What?
didn't even drink anything last night.
Hey, you know, drink, smoke, whatever the case may be, it is what it is. So I'll just be seeing myself out. Shush! Why are you screaming at me, crazy?
I can't hear you!
Oh my god, why do you have snakes in your head? Oh, fuck
What?
this. This is some creepy... Fucking Lycus just books it out of there, grabs his bag, and like, what the fuck did I get into last night?
All right now, she has no idea what's going on, but Lycus is running. She remembers, okay, last time this happened, something happened to Lycus, and he saw me and ran. I need to not do that. And she runs and she tackles him to the floor.
Whatever. Whoa. You want money? Is that what you want? You want money? You want money? Look, I will pay you for your services if that is warranting payment.
I have no idea what the hell you're saying. Your mouth is moving and I hear nothing. But
then why the hell are you talking to me?
Your mouth is moving. I still have no idea what the fuck you're saying.
Hey, yo.
Just... Okay. But the last time this happened, you were scared of me. So...
Here's 30 gold. Go away.
And I just take the money out of his hands and...
Isn't that
I'm gonna reflex, I'm gonna punch Cyanus in the leg.
Hey, if she's you do what you gotta do, bro. You get paid. I don't care. I don't know how much it was. It was good.
How much of, on Cyanus, hold up 1 out of 10 fingers. 10 means maximum, 1 is minimum. How much of what he just said is sexual innuendo?
I hold up 10.
I am gay, for the record. I've said this before, but I'm gay.
Oh, fuck.
Did you have a bad dream
weasel
too?
out as best I can. Like, I have no idea who the hell you crazy ass people are. I ain't got time for this nonsense. I'm sure I got something important to do.
Lycus, look. If you stay with us for a couple minutes, go down to the bar. I'll pay for your tab. But I need you to stay with us. Okay.
Why am I here?
Look,
Something.
we'll get to that. I need to deal with this right quick.
Look, I'm not here to start a fight, all right? If it was a hell of a night, it was a hell of a night. I paid you for your woman's services. I mean, to each their own. I still gotta get over the fact that I slept with a horse lady, but hey, parties happen however they happen, all right? I wasn't gonna say nothing because I had crazy snake lady in my face, but, you know, hey, you know, whatever. Okay,
No,
I am
you'll
gonna go
shake
down
your
and
head.
I'm gonna have breakfast.
Did you have a bad dream last night too? Like you, Lycus. Nod or shake your head.
I mean, you know, it wasn't the most pleasant. Yeah.
Was there a woman laughing at you or something like that? You're not. Nod or shake your head, you asshole. Okay.
Excuse me 1 second.
Um,
Oh, shit.
That-
All right.
yeah, I'm gonna I've still got my arm sort of on Lycus's shoulder to hold him still. And I'm gonna turn to look at Zionus. Let's go. Was Lutheria in your head too? God damn it, I shouldn't have cursed her. Am I yelling? Sorry. Does he not know who we are? Maybe get him to read his own shit. He'll figure out something.
Yeah.
You need to nod or shake your head. Okay. Hold on. I'm just gonna let go. I'm gonna go to Lycus's bag and I'm going to find the empty parchment. And pull it out.
Lycus, it's fine. Lycus, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
That is my bag.
It's fine.
Hey.
Empty parchment.
Break it, you buy it.
Charcoal.
Will you tell her? What is she, deaf?
I mean, a little bit, but just trust her on this.
Dude, you've got some kinky whatever, but you know what? Everybody, equal love, whatever.
I'm gonna shove the bag over towards Lycus and point at it.
Thank
and just
you,
go,
my bag.
No,
I appreciate
She
read.
wants you to read something.
Well, then she can tell me whatever it is I need to be reading.
You wrote about last night in here. In your... Yes.
I start
It is
digging through my
it's
scrolls.
It's wonderful poetry.
Must have been an amazing party if I wrote this shit down as it was happening.
You read that. I'm gonna hand the
Okay.
parchment over to Cyanus and just go, write down whatever you need to tell me.
All right.
I
And
feel
then
like I need to roll a dice like 50-50 every time you say something, whether I actually hear it or I hear womp 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 womp, or you think you say it.
The volume of my voice is just like going woo, woo the whole time
And
I'm talking.
I'm just gonna write down on the parchment that she gave me. Stop talking. I'll give you something to write with.
Look, we gotta be like, she's screaming our ears off. Like, what the fuck? She doesn't know the control volume of her.
So then I'm like, I go over to Euron and I'm just like, I point to a chair in the corner of the room, like, go.
She sits down. If the chair is near Aina, she's gonna start kind of trying to shake Aina's shoulder.
Hey, I know, wake up. I know.
Aina, if you don't wake up, I'm going to draw a mustache on your face.
No balls.
I go over, just like start shaking her shoulder. Nothing. And I'm just like, fuck, I didn't want to fucking do this again.
Are you okay?
Look, I'm good. Just stay put. You stay. And then I grab Ina by like her shoulder, and I just give her like a really quick, good backhand. I mean,
that would be your reaction too. When you connect, it's more like her
Owie.
face hurts your hand than anything else.
Guys, she's not waking up. Then I just kind of lean over and I look for a vein and just like see if I can like check her pulse, so I can just be like, okay, she's not dead.
Give me a medicine check for fun.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Ina, give me an insight check.
17, by the way.
Okay, you do feel a life pulse.
Okay, insight check is going to be a 6.
A 6. Okay.
Cyanus. Kira.
Yeah, I can. Alright, Lycus, while you're reading that, I need you to stay here. When I get back, I'll give you a beer.
I am a fantastic motherfucker. Like, really? Have you read this? I
Yeah.
have done some shit.
I haven't read it, but I've lived it.
Man, you were there?
Yeah.
A live account, so you can back up when I flew off the mountain and massacred this boar? Why the hell don't I remember this shit or anything else?
Keep reading.
Oh, it's in here. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. Well,
Alright.
this Kira chick sounds sexy. I'm just saying, I wrote a lot about it.
Yeah, hold on to that thought.
Oh, I'm sure I have pictographs.
So, as I'm leaving the tavern, I'm gonna make like a quick stop at the marketplace, just trying to see if I can like find just like a slate and something to write with.
Okay. Easy enough. One second. So, as you step out into the Agora, you see a procession of merchants coming up the street. Horses and oxen pulling all these carts that you recognize are the kind that, once they're put in place, the sides can fold out, the canvas top can be raised, and they're essentially mobile selling carts. So a caravan of traveling merchants appears to be entering into the heart of Astoria with various different types of wares. As they arc out to the sides and start setting up, you see a wide assortment of things for sale. People start hawking out to the passers-by in the street. Everything from weapons, to armor, to trinkets, scrolls, parchment, art, clothing, plants, herbs, alchemy. Anything you would expect to see in the biggest festival in Mitros has seemingly made its way and crammed itself into the already quite cramped Agora in Astoria. As the remainder of the traveling caravan passes you and you can make your way out into the street, you hear somebody call out to you from the side. Oi, Sanus, is that you? You turn.
Yeah.
You turn and you see walking up the street with two gentlemen on either side. These are humans. They are dressed in garb very unfamiliar to you. A lot of reds and golds on leather and cloth, capes, obviously relatively wealthy individuals. Walking between them towards you, and with his left hand raised up momentarily, you see the figure that called out to your name. At first glance, he's unrecognizable, but as the light from the sun moves out from behind him, and you see a clear image of his face, the black and red fur, the horns twisted off to the sides, you recognize Kraos, your father. He walks up to you, extends his hand. Osianus, I got your message. The debt's to be repaid. I figured I'd come to see exactly what is going on myself.
Hey, Dad. Met me at kind of a bad time. Look, if you meet me back at the tavern, just over there, I'll be back in like 20-ish minutes. Just I'll be back.
The tavern there.
Yeah, that one. Yes, that one.
All right. If you get delayed, I will probably be up at the palace in case you don't find me there.
I mean, I'm coming. I'm going to the palace right now to like go grab someone, but me and my compatriots are at that tavern, and we're kind of at the middle of something that I'm trying to figure out right now. So it'd be a help if you just meet me there, because yeah.
Very well. Your vagueness tells me about all I need to know, so I will meet you at this fine establishment. Hurry back. And good to see you, son. He turns and walks and enters the Dragon's Tooth.
All right. So, first off, buying that slate I was looking for, even though I'm like even more shaken than I'm already shaking. And then after I find one, then I'm gonna go up to the palace, get Kira, and look. All right, it's a BioWare thing.
We're good.
It's a BioWare thing.
We're good.
All right, so go to the palace, get Kira, come back to the tavern.
Okay. You find Kira in the main entrance hallway. She's talking to, like you've come used to now. She is talking in the main hallway with several noble type individuals. She very briefly informs you that she is indisposed at the moment, but will be there as soon as she can manage, which shouldn't be too much longer because she grows tired of these boring, pedantic people she is engaged with at the moment. So, you're more than welcome to grab a slate of parchment, whatever you desire. It's very easy. Cost you maybe 10 copper.
Okay.
If you want the cheap stuff. And then you can make your way back to Dragon's Tooth just fine.
Don't forget chalk.
Well, yeah. No, it just comes in a set. All right. So I grab that. Just take 10 copper out. Okay. So get back into the room, and I turn to Lycus, like, hey, so, how much of that stuff have you done reading? Oh, wait a minute. He's not here. He must be in the other room.
He's locking the cat up.
Yeah, I figured. But, I take the slate out, and I just start writing on it for Huron. Kira coming soon.
You okay? You're twitching like crazy.
Lutheria dream bad.
Me too. And then adds also, you look worried. Good?
So, Lycus, how much of that stuff have you finished reading? Yeah, I know it's a lot to get into. I know.
You know, I got to the part where we set this tree on fire in some sort of mossy temple, and apparently I massacred a big gorgon forearm something.
Yeah.
It gets a little splotchy here.
Yeah.
Something
you did.
about assistance, and then I apparently heroically leaped on this thing and smothered its mouth with some sort of vaporous chemical that I created myself. And in this desperate moment, when all else was failing and we were on the verge of death, I tried.
Euron's just watching him talk, no idea what's happening, and just writes on the slate, just says, Kira, better hurry.
Am I like the leader of this group? I mean, clearly I must be. I mean, are you okay? Do you need some wine?
At this moment, everybody except obviously Euron and Aya hears the door open, kind of slowly creaking in the background, and the music from the central room, the common room, filters in now that bards have entered with this traveling caravan. And Lycus, you see an unfamiliar, but everybody else sees a very familiar young satyr with flowers adorning his necklace. He's carrying a small satchel in his hand, looking around. He looks in, he sees all of you, and the very worried expression melts away to one of relief and joy. He hurries in the room. Lorius addresses all of you.
Oh my goodness, you all left, and I didn't know where you went, and I was so worried for you.
I like us, apparently.
I mean, yeah, you did just get past a little.
Euron scribbles on the slate and goes, and it says on top, it's very tiny writing to try and fit it all in. It goes, Lutheria got mad at us. I can't hear anything. Lycus doesn't remember anything.
Okay, it's more with the speed and everything with which you wrote that giant thing in like the 10 seconds that was there. It's very scrawled in, but sure, yeah.
Lutheria, mad. I, deaf. Lycus, forgot everything.
Is that kind of like, last session when I saw all those damn troglodytes coming down the hallway, and in my high-pitched bitch scream, I actually portrayed a message of, oh my god, there's a lot of enemies coming this way, everybody please look out. That kind of writing? Yeah.
It starts off as that, and then she will be like, wait, no, scribble, and then turns into like little kid trying to write out a sentence.
See, Lorius stares at it for a moment and looks back at each of you.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Lycus, I am Lorius. We are very friendly with each other. We have traveled. I have been beside you in your fights.
Did I meet you at the Mossy Temple?
You did. Yes, you did.
Okay, because I got a bio on you. So I wrote about you. And
oh, that's very nice of you.
You're the Lorius, right? We met, you had a lot of flowers on.
Yes, I'm still wearing most of them, and along with these new ones from the Agora. Don't they smell lovely? You said the other ones were lovely. I hope you like these too.
Will believe anything you tell him, obsessed and in desperate need of some motherly affection. I don't know. You look a wonderful. I don't read this out loud. I'm reading this to y'all so you can see what I read or wrote. No, your flowers
say.
look
My
amazing.
God.
No,
Okay,
I
so
wasn't.
You did not read that out loud.
No,
yes?
no. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm reading to you people what I wrote, but I wasn't gonna read it out loud to him.
Okay, got it.
I was gonna say, because if you did.
Yeah, no. I'd be like, oh, so yes, apparently I wrote about you, and you are apparently a major part of my day-to-day.
I got that impression as well. That's very kind of you to write about me. Someone
Yeah.
as notable as yourself.
So tell me how amazing I am. Because apparently I forgot, and yet I have all these adventures that apparently I've done some crazy stuff, and I can't hear any. This guy over here just tells me, meh. But if I've really done wonderful things, I'd love to hear about it, because right now I'm feeling very, very self-conscious.
Well, you are.
Wouldn't be the first time you're feeling yourself.
You are quite heroic in your way.
Mm-hmm.
You were very, very kind to me when we first met. You offered me a drink, even though you didn't know me from your own wine. You complimented me. You said you love me several times. You're very, very skilled with musical instruments.
Right.
And you bought me food when we first got to Astoria, and I didn't know what money or coins were, or what they were used for, and you're quite remarkable.
Thank you for that. I'm so happy to hear you say that. And I hope whatever has happened will change and that I can figure out where I need to be.
Well, I will leave you all. It seems like you have much going on, and you're in out of sorts. But I was hoping to find you to see if you were all okay, and also to bring you this. While you were gone, I went back to the Mossy Temple, and well, here. And he hands over this satchel to you, Lycus. It feels very, very light, almost kind of cushiony. It seems to be filled with something. And he takes a strange-looking bow that was slung over his shoulder. You couldn't really see it because it's short behind him and the string was obscured by his fur. He takes it off and he hands it over to you as well. And you don't recognize it, but everybody else recognizes it as the kind of odd-looking bow that the Maynad had around her shoulders when you were in the room with Demetria the second time you went there. The Maynad that ran off. I found this just outside the Mossy Temple in the forest, and I figured it may be useful. It doesn't look like any bow I've ever seen before. And I got some more of those plants that you were asking me to get the last time you were there. The ones that weren't all burnt up. There wasn't many of them. I figured you would be able to use them and appreciate them, so... Anyway,
Well, thank you.
I'll take my leave, and just, I'll be around. I haven't left Astoria much, it's so remarkable here. He bows a little bit and
Thank you,
keeps his
Boris.
eyes. You're welcome, you're welcome.
I don't know what you've been saying, but thank you.
Womp, 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 womp. No, she does that. Just ignore her.
Lorius has left the room. Ina, give me another insight check, please. Y'all can continue.
Right.
11.
Okay.
I want drink. Please.
And then I just turned to Lorius and like, hey, have you seen that horn sitting around here? I know we all drank from it last night.
Lorius isn't in the room anymore.
Yeah, Lorius left the room.
I meant Lycus.
I assumed that's why I didn't say anything at first.
I'm sorry, you're looking for what?
Where's that horn?
I don't know what you're talking about. Like, this thing? I don't know. I found it in my bag.
Yes, that thing. Oh, fucking Christ. I just
It smells really good.
Don't drink.
drink from it. If you want to pass out again, drink from it.
Will I wake up?
Yeah, but you're gonna be out for basically the entire day.
I got stuff to do.
Yeah, plus it tastes a little better when it's not in the horn.
Oh, well, if that's the case, then
So
bottoms up.
So I take it. I go grab a couple of cups from outside. I bring them back in. I'm just like,
when you went outside, you saw Kratos in the corner with his entourage sitting there. He glances over, he sees you, and by your demeanor, he just kind of nods and goes back to talking.
okay. I shoot him a look over my shoulder. I'm just like, give me a minute. Grab some cups, go back into the room, start pouring us all a glass. Like, all right, we need to think.
Oh, the one who can't talk right is doing their thing again.
Mm-hmm.
Kira? Question mark.
I think she's asking for bacon. No, it wasn't bacon. I hold up my eggs. Food?
She writes on the slate, and it says on it, Kira? Question mark.
And
Oh.
then I take the slate and I erase it, and I'm just like, she's coming.
Thank the gods.
Why would she say that? We worship the Titans.
You might. I don't.
Don't all Fae worship the Titans?
Well, let's put it this way. One of the Titans wants me dead.
Well, I mean, you don't look like the non-shadiest person I know, so, I mean, I'm sure there's quite a few people who want me dead, but why does that matter? That's kind of
No,
weird.
but she personally wants me dead.
Oh, she personally, a god, a type. Oh, okay, buddy. Cyanus.
At this point, the door opens once again, and you see the very comforting, familiar face, bright and shining as always, of Kira.
I totally just grab his arm and like, who is that? And I don't even wait for a response. I just, good morning, madam.
She strolls in confidently, sits down in a chair in the corner.
Please have a seat. As she sits down already. Sit at our table. You are welcome, of course. I don't know these riffraff, but you are more than welcome to sit across from me and share my table.
Euron's just writing. Just writes on the slate.
She's a scribe. Ignore her and her snakes.
It holds up. It just says Lutheria.
Alright, so why is Lycus acting so strange, and Euron is writing things, and Aina is sleeping, and you're twitching?
Let's just put this easy. Lutheria's pissed.
I mean, strange. This is me being myself, darling. May I call you darling? I know this is our first introduction. I mean...
Parchment! Where's the parchment? Where's the parchment?
We know each other quite well.
Euron just writes out and then starts writing out fully and tries to make it neat. So it just says, Lutheria, not happy, we killed her pet. Bad dream. Lycus does not know who he is. I can't hear anything. And we can't wake Aina.
She stands up and she walks over to Euron, keeping an eye on Lycus, glancing back at Cyanus. She slowly reaches out the hand and grasps the slate lightly that Euron has, and kind of pulls it a little bit and places it down. You seem to be working awfully hard. Just take a minute, just relax. Cyanus can talk and relax. Relax. Scribbling very, very furiously. Alright. So, I think I understand exactly what's happening. More or less. Vulcan told me that you relit the forge, which was nice, talking to my father for a moment. Is Ina alright?
I mean, she seems alright. She just can't wake up. I mean, like, I checked her pulse. She's alive. She's just not wanting to wake up.
And Lycus doesn't remember anything.
Nope.
Nothing any
Well, I mean, he
mouths
remembers
wondering.
bits and pieces, but I've been having him read his notes that he's been taking.
Well, this isn't the worst that could happen. You're all alive. I could try restoring your senses, but I don't know if I can do anything to help with that. Lutheria is quite powerful, especially if she catches you when you're sleeping.
That seems rather useful, since everybody has to sleep.
She is a titan.
She is also a bitch.
Alright, so...
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that I've said something like that. I guess. I did worse shit yesterday, in person, to Vulcan.
So Kira takes a moment and you see her drop her chin a little bit, mutter some words under her breath, and look up expectantly. And... anything? And she sees Cyanus twitching and Lycus's grin, and... Alright.
Euron's
well,
staring at her mouth, trying to read her lips, and it's not working.
You've enchanted me already, my dear. I don't believe you can do it twice.
yes.
Don't you
Lycus,
just miss this, Lycus?
Lycus, I think very fondly of you. And that's where it's
I
going...
do.
That's where it's going to stay. But I'll tell you what. I'll make you a deal. We can skip all this in between, for this whole matter to rest. If you can beat me in a foot race, I will marry you.
How far?
I'll give you a head start, so let's say 20 feet.
You know, as promising as it would be, or no, how should I put this? As wonderful as I'm sure matrimony would be with you, I'm just not a settle down, locked to one person kind of satyr. I'm just not ready for that type of commitment just yet. But if you want to be like a concubine kind of arrangement, I mean, you know.
Euron's gonna maybe reach over.
I'm just gonna look.
You don't hear any of
at
this,
Euron
Euron.
and
You just see
like,
mouths.
Oh no! All I'm watching is I'm watching Lycus with his typical flirty face, and Kira looking at him very indulgently, and maybe her eyebrows just raising. And Euron's just gonna reach over, grab Lycus's manuscript, and flick until he finds the bit that maybe says something along the lines of, the Kira we've been traveling with is actually Kira the god. If there's anything like that.
There's a lot of manuscripts in that bag.
Damn it.
So you search frantically, but you come up fruitless, unfortunately.
And I'm just gonna write it on my slate.
Out of the bag.
I'm just gonna write on my slate and hold it up to Lycus. It says, "That is Kira the goddess."
Well, no shit. Have you not seen this body?
Well, I'm very flattered, Lycus. But I think I'm rather engaged at the moment. So maybe a rain check.
You just said you want to marry me. I wasn't ready for that commitment, but now you're engaged.
Oh,
all right, don't worry about it. We're good. We're good.
To be fair, I said I would, not I wanted to. So,
Same thing. Semantics.
Ina, give me another insight check, please.
17.
All right. So, break for a second. Ina, as you're fighting this dragon, you start to pick up some things about it. It strikes fast and ferociously. For every one of your attacks, it's taking multiple. It is seemingly equally effective with its bite, with its claws on the front and the back, with its tail. All of them lethal, all of them very accurate, all of them deadly. All right, so. Here, well, I don't know exactly what else I can do. Is there anything in particular else? Unfortunately, I am busy running this city for the time being, as you know.
Well, I mean, I might be able to save you at least one trip around town.
Okay.
Remember a couple days ago how I was like, hey, can you send a message to my dad?
That I did, yes.
Yeah, he's actually out in the main room right now.
Oh. Can I meet him?
I mean, yeah, I'd highly enjoy you actually being there.
I would be happy to accompany you.
Alright. I turn to the rest of the room and I'm like, you guys stay here. I'll be back.
Alright. So, Sinus walks out with Kira. Let's give that a moment to breathe. After they step out, Euron is in the room with Lycus and Ina. What's going on?
I'm gonna double check Ina's pulse once more just to make sure, like, okay, like, she's still alive.
You can easily tell she's still alive.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find a blanket and kind of just drape it over her and tuck her in as best I can. She would never let me do this, if she was conscious, so... And then I'm just gonna sit and give Lycus just the most hopeless shrug I can come up with.
I mean, if she wants to hit shit that hard, that's on her.
And just...
Oh, you throwing your damn slate of stone at me. Sausage. Breakfast. I don't know what the hell she's saying. I feel like I need to go to the library. I have a sudden urge to go to the local library. I need to read up if there's any more stories about me. Surely I would have donated this to... There's gotta be a wonderful librarian somewhere around here.
I'm gonna write on it and just be like, where are you going?
I point to the manuscripts, point to the book, and I point out there. And I walk.
Okay.
I grab my slate and I'm just... It's half yelled, but there's just a for fuck's sake! And Euron just shuts the door. Kind of sit and just tails Lycus. And
All right.
already, and writes as she's walking, it's sort of bouncy, but just like on important mission, do not interrupt. And she's just gonna hold it up at anyone who tries to
I get
talk to
freaked
them.
out that this prostitute from the night before is now tailing me, and I run like a motherfucker to lose my
Yeet.
shadow. You can yeet all you want. We gonna roll now.
You're on just runs after him.
I must have put a butt in that oven and don't know about it or something.
You trying to lose her, Lycus?
I am trying to lose her. This crazy bitch is following me.
No.
Absolutely. I don't know where the hell I'm going, but I'm losing her.
All right, let's have a little fun. I would like both of you to give me an athletics check. And then Lycus give me a stealth check, and Euron give me a perception check.
I think I find myself very Assassin's Creed-ish. Are you sure it's an athletics check you want?
Athletics, and then stealth from you. And then athletics, and then perception from Euron.
Okay. So that's a 13 for athletics, and then stealth that's a 13 as well.
Okay. Euron?
That is an 18 for athletics and 11 for perception.
Okay. So, Lycus walks out of the Dragon's Tooth, and you follow, scribbling, holding it up. He looks over his shoulder, gets a little bit of a wild look in his eye, and then darts into the throng of people in the Agora. You are easily able to keep up with him, trying not to knock people over, being as courteous as you can while also keeping him in sight. A surge of customers in front of a weaponsmith walk in front of you, and you lose him momentarily in the crowd. As they pass, you kind of push your way through and glance around for a moment, but you seem to have lost track of him. So, Lycus, as you have escaped from Euron for the moment, hiding behind the crowd, you lean up against a marble pillar in front of the library. You hear all the people around you, and you begin to step away from the shadow of the pillar towards the entrance of what appears to be the library. And you hear an unfamiliar voice in your head. A lady's voice.
Oh, okay, I was going to say.
What are you doing, my child? It seems to reverberate from within your mind itself, not coming from your ears or anywhere around you.
I shake my head and I'm like, Whew, I'm hearing shit. I just look at the people and I'm like, someone must have said something, but anyway.
It continues. You are hearing someone. You are hearing me, your grandmother. Have you forgotten everything, including me?
No, of course not, Granny. I know you. Grandmommy. I mean, of course I know you. You're my grandmother. I don't forget that. I just... How did you get in my head? 'Cause you're dead.
Although I could
Granny?
explain it, I think it might pass a little beyond your current comprehension, and I don't have much time. I sense a force coming near that I would be best to avoid.
Well, Meemaw, if you're not really alive, how are you going to avoid it?
Another complicated question. Let me just clarify some things for you in your current predicament. The Lady of Dreams has done this to you. If I am right, it should fade within a matter of time. But she torments you because she fears your growing power. My power flowing through your very veins. Yet, despite all these gifts, despite this growing power, if you continue to fall ill to these simple trickeries, you will never lead a new order of the Dragon Lords.
Dragon Lord?
You will remember.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm game. What do I gotta do? Let's go, Gmaul.
You need to stop ruining your chances by nearly dying every time you get into a fight with the next three-headed dog that pops around the corner, simply because you feel it's appropriate for you to follow these rash inclinations of your new friends. A true leader asserts his will on the world and those around him. They don't buckle under the niceties of fraternal bondage. Of course, you don't remember, but these are valuable allies, certainly. But you must carefully and clearly set yourself above them, or they shall never respect you as they should. My grandson, the future leader of the Dragon Lords.
Now, Mama, now I'm with you on this whole Dragon Lords thing, because a fucking dragon sounds amazing right now. I read that, I wrote a thingy, and it clearly says, I saved the day. Hold on, let me go through it. It's about 30 scroll length long. Yeah, right here. I don't know how the hell you pronounce it. Nearly died. I saved the horse. The snake. I saved the snake. I saved everybody. Like, I didn't do crazy shit. I'm a hero.
Is a hero truly content to save the day? Or should you rather be focusing on leading them to victory?
I'm confused, Momo. It says I was victorious. Personally, I am the reason they are victorious.
Well, perhaps that is what you will be remembered for, but perhaps you will be one of a number. And one of a number is not
a leader. I'm the number.
Then be sure that they know that as well, because I don't think they do. Now, pull yourself together. Pull yourself together before you disgrace our heritage any further, my child. You deserve the best, and... Wait. He draws near. I must leave, but remember my words, and I will return.
Who's coming? Mama! Ah! Mama! Like, literally, I'm on the steps of the library.
And I re-roll my perception check to see if I hear him. Wait, no, I'm deaf. Fuck!
Everyone stops and is like, Mama!
Can I notice anything? Can I notice anything? I'm begging you.
There's too much going on right now. I'm sorry, you're on.
I'm just gonna go to the library because I think that's what he meant.
Okay, give me an insight check. We'll see if you think that's what he meant or not.
Well, he was referring to places where books are kept.
But you don't know that.
No, I pointed to my scrolls and
rolled
you did?
Out. Okay,
yeah, in the tavern, he pointed to scrolls.
I pointed to my books, my scrolls, and I said there.
All right. Okay, that's reasonable. You can head to the library. That's fine.
Well, she knows I'm such a fan of the librarian.
I'm actually heading there to try and head him off the path so he doesn't talk to the librarian.
Okay. Let's jump scenes. Ina, give me another insight check, please.
Uh, 17.
Okay. You learned something else in your seemingly eternal battle with the gold dragon. At first, the first thing you noticed was the warmth as the fire bared down upon you, but as you have gone through this a multitude of times, you feel something very unfamiliar just before that. And as you focus on every edge you can get in this battle against him, you notice that there is a cold feeling forming in the pit of your stomach just before you start to feel that warmth upon your skin. And you realize that as he approaches, fear begins to grip you and threaten to overwhelm you. Alright, so Cyanus and Kira are in the tavern. You see Kraos in the corner with his two adjuncts. He looks up at you expectantly, kind of questioningly, as to what your current intent is, as you look across the room at him, Cyanus, with Kira behind you. What do you do?
All right. So, hi, Dad. Didn't think you'd actually be here so soon, but cool that you did.
I was between here and Mitros when I received your letter several days ago, so I met up with the merchants you see, and they also could not get into Mitros, and brought them here.
All right. Sidebar. I'll come back to that, but yeah, hold that thought.
Okay.
All right. So I know you said you were going to the palace. You're probably going to go up there to go talk to the cities later. Am I right?
That is a purpose, yes, it is.
And then I just gestured at Kira beside me.
Oh, this is Kira.
This is.
Honored to make your acquaintance, ma'am. Likewise, father of Cyanus.
Dad, I really hope you know what I meant when I sent that letter to you, right?
I had my suspicions, but since I was delayed in my current mission, I decided to come see my son and find out for certain. My brain is becoming a bit foggy in age. Is this something that we should speak privately about?
No, we're fine. I mean,
Oh.
do you remember, what was it, years ago? Back when our village was still, kind of going through the hard times. We ended up getting help from outside sources. That's what I was talking about. Like, these people needed us, and they needed help. So I figured we could repay that.
I have heard of the struggles going on in Astoria from the travelers on the road, and although I could not get the help I wished I could, I did bring the merchants here and also a large sum of platinum to disperse among the people to help them stand back up. And once the way to Mitros is cleared and my current obligations are met, I will be able to act more freely. I hope that will suffice in the stead.
I mean, definitely. I mean, these people had nothing. Like, even you bring these couple of cards, like, it's... I mean, as far as I could tell, whenever I was out there, everyone seemed to be really, really thankful that more and more trade is coming back into the city. I mean, they had nothing, Dad.
Yes, I've heard things have been getting painful in Mitros as well, from the very, very few that seem to somehow escape from the storm raging over the city. Part of what I was going to the palace for was to deliver these coin to the leader for dispersal amongst the people. Technically, it's a gift from the city of Arisia, but it's all the same. I feel like we should catch up on some things, and I can clue you in, but you also seem busy, so just because you're here with Kira, I will let you both know that I have found myself in the employ of Arisian benefactors. We were going to Mitros to engage and help some dealings with trade when the storm fell and I was waiting to find a way in. There really isn't much that you need to know, and probably the less you know right now, the better. But when I got your letter, I had the authority and the money to pay the merchants to come here, and so I come bearing these gifts. Is there anything that I need to know since you're so busy as of right now?
Nothing that I can think of offhand. Because I mean, these people just needed help. That's really the reason that I wanted to like try contacting you.
All right. Well, we are behind schedule, so if it's all right with you, I will head up to the palace and find accommodations, waiting for Kira, and then hopefully to see you again sometime soon. I've recently been turned on to what they call the royal game, and I think it'd be fun to catch up and play around with you.
The what?
The royal game, more commonly known as 20 squares. Don't worry, I'll explain it. It's fun, and I think you'll enjoy it. But it would be a good time to catch up and maybe meet some of the other friends that I've heard you may be traveling with.
All right. Well, I mean, after things get settled here, I may take you up on that. Try getting you down. But until then, I appreciate that you came here. Kira, if you want to accompany him back up to the palace, I think we're done here.
It would be my pleasure. Oh, Kryos, is it? Shall we? We shall, my lady. And they get up. And he puts his arm out and takes her. He pats you on the shoulder and walks out with his attaché. Aina, give me an insight check.
Seven.
Okay. Nothing new this time, sorry. Ryan. Alright, so let's jump real quick back to Lycus. You're on, give me a perception check out of curiosity.
Woo! 21.
21. Okay. Lycus, as you're calling out for your grandmother, looking around, trying to grasp what's really going on, a satyr leaning up against the wall, about 20 feet to your left, playing what appears to be a very strange-looking instrument. I would describe it in character, but suffice to say for all the players, he's essentially playing a fiddle, which is pretty unusual. He has this brown, kind of matted, messy mop of hair. His horns curl out almost closer to the front of his head, back, and they twist around. He's wearing an orangish leather mantle with silver studs, a pale yellow shirt with brown stripes down it, and these billowy purple pantaloons as he taps his foot and plays his fiddle. He sees you glancing at him, he catches your eye, and he smiles and starts playing a little bit faster. He's playing very, very well. It is a very catchy, engaging tune. Kind of strikes you for a minute at the strange instrument and how good it sounds, and he makes his way over towards you. He introduces himself.
How you doing, friend? You're pretty well with those strings. I've never seen that before.
Do you like it?
I do.
Would you like to try it?
Absolutely. I play the lute here. I've never seen anything like that.
Well, this is what we call a fiddle, from where I am from. You saw me play it, and you seem to have similar attitude and skill as myself, so by all means, here, try it, friend.
Absolutely.
I am here, Sam. Your name?
Lycus.
Lycus. Well, it's a very, very distinct pleasure to make your acquaintance. And he gives a very long, billowing bow and comes back up. Would you like to try and play the fiddle?
Absolutely, I would love to play the fiddle.
Alright, give me a performance check with disadvantage since it's an unfamiliar instrument.
Okay. see, that's a 12, and that's a 20.
Okay.
So 12.
All right. So you are able to replicate a very well-known hymn. There's a couple of squeaks in the beginning, but then you kind of find the groove, and before long, you're kind of bowing and bobbing with it, and people start to listen and then scurry off for a moment as this very strangely dressed satyr and you kind of tapping your feet and getting into it. After a few minutes of that has passed, he claps. Whoa, that's quite remarkable. I didn't think that you'd be able to play that so well. You must be very talented.
I am full of surprises, good sir.
Well, I think that you were just the chap then. Lycus, hate to be forward, but my time is pressing. I am not from here. I'm from somewhere, well, very far away. I found myself here quite by accident, as a matter of fact, and since I am so unfamiliar with this place and it is so remarkable, I could really use some information, first-hand experience from someone such as yourself who, from the look of it, has lived their entire life here.
What can I help you with?
Well, I really enjoy learning firsthand from people's experiences. It's the most natural way for me to learn, to get inside their head and feel what they feel and know what they know, so I don't get the edited version of the truth. This can be a bartering type situation. I don't expect something for nothing, and so I have a few baubles that may interest you. Here's the way this works. It's quite unfamiliar, so bear with me. You let me know how many favors, how many bits of information, whatever it may be, you would like to offer, and I will give you an item of commensurate value, growing in rarity and power the more you decide to help. And once I state the terms and I let you know what the item is, you are free to accept or decline, and if you accept, then I will seal the transaction with a simple spell to make sure everyone stays honest, and the reward is yours.
Wait, so I give you information. Well,
Yes.
Wait, no. So, wait. You tell me what you're going to give me, and then I feed you information, and then I get that item?
Yes. I have 3 things for you to choose from. The least powerful, the least rare, is worth 1 favor, and then 2 favors for the second most rare, and then 3 for the most. And
When
if
you
you're
say
feeling
favor, you mean like I have to do things for you later? Or I just got to tell you some like yes or no?
a combination of things, someone irked me here, and
Oh.
well, let's just keep it simple. I will tell you what the items are and what they do, and you tell me if you would like to do these 3 things for me. And if you're feeling particularly intrepid and would like to change your life forever, there's the most powerful reward, but I must caution you, that one is not to be taken lightly, although it is quite rewarding. So he reaches over, and he has a very nondescript satchel that you really didn't notice before, and he pulls it to the front. He reaches in, and out of it he pulls this very small, illustrious, gorgeous-looking pearl. He says, "This item, if you keep it on you and use it once per day, can help restore some of the arcane ability that I sense residing within you. Where I come from, it is known as a Pearl of Power. It can help you tap into reserves of energy you didn't even know you had. And for this item, it would just be a bit of information. You would tell me your single, darkest secret, the one thing that you would never tell anyone. And for this item," and he puts the pearl down and he pulls out of this normal sized satchel, it kind of unfolds and rips out, is a normal sized set of studded leather armor. It appears relatively nondescript, but he brings it a little bit closer to his face and whispers something, and he kind of
pops it, and it turns into a cloak. A cloak and a jacket that look relatively, although fine, normal. They don't look like armor at all. He says, this is a very well-made suit of armor if you find yourself in fights and things of that nature, and it can also double for evening wear. It is, again, constructed and interwoven with magic, and where I am from, it is known as a glamoured studded leather armor set. And this would require the original favor, but also you would have to give me 3 of your happiest memories. Not just tell me now, give me. So that when you describe them, I absorb them and they become my memories, so I can relive them as my own, and, well, unfortunately, they are gone for you forever. But then there's this, and he shoves it back in the bag, and he pulls out this gorgeous silvered harp with purple and gold filigree on it, strings made of some material you've never seen before. With this, which I assume is very much your fancy, you can command spells themselves, weaving magic through the notes played, similar to what you're familiar with, but it gives you access to things you didn't know you could do. One of them being controlling the weather. Where I am from, once again, this is one of the many instruments of the bards. This one is known as an Anstruth harp. And for this, the same 2 favors apply, but the 3rd favor would be, when I first arrived here, it was on an island, not far off the coast. If you were to ever come across that island, the locals call it the Island of the Dragon, I would like you to kill the dragon, because she was very rude and insulted my music, which I did not take kindly for. So I left and decided to seek more friendly faces.
So, you want me to kill a dragon if I find myself on this island in return for this? What'd you call this thing again?
An Anstruth harp.
Anstruth harp. I'm not very fond of just killing random old dragons. I mean, that's... Okay.
I understand the predicament entirely, and do not expect you to accept or deny. But hear my final offer, and if you like this, that's great. And if you don't want any of these items, that's fine. I just thought I had found a kindred soul.
I want to do a. I want to feel this guy out, such
Okay.
as obviously I'm trying to do perception rolls or not investigation.
Insight?
Insight, yes, please. Like, I want to feel this guy. Like I'm getting a real good look at this guy now. Like, full investigation. Like, what is up with this?
Okay. Insight check.
Okay. 19.
19.
If it's a DC 20, I'm gonna fucking cry.
For me, insight is a scaling check.
I'm
The
great
better
with
you
scaling.
roll, the more you gain. He seems genuine. You have dealt with deceptive people in the past, and although it's possible he is being deceptive, you certainly don't get any obvious signs of that. His smile is warm, his eyes are twinkling, he seems very engaged with you. Something about his presence impresses you. There is a not so subtle power about him. You can almost feel it reverberating throughout the air.
Let me ask you a question. What would happen if I promise to kill this dragon and then I don't? Because I find out this dragon is a very good dragon or something. You know, I understand he insulted you. I'm just curiosity. Entertain the idea. If I did not do what I promised, I would just have to give the heart back.
You are certainly no fool. No, I'm afraid that because of the confines of the spell which would seal our deal, if you were to act directly against that in any way, it would be quite damaging to you.
Damaging.
Perhaps you want something more and you don't want to have to kill a dragon or give me any secrets. As I said, I am seeking information. I wish to know this land before I depart it and return home.
Okay.
I have come across a strange phenomenon particular to this land, known as oaths. Oaths themselves are not particular, but the magic that binds them is.
Mm-hmm.
If you would, I would like to ingrain myself with you, grant you some of my power, infuse you with some of my power. And in exchange, I simply require an indefinite oath of service until I feel like I have learned all I can from this world. It would not be cumbersome. I would not be constantly hounding you for things that are strange or vicious. But maybe I'm more curious about something than you are, or maybe I think that we should go a different way. That's all. You would gain much power from this transaction, but do not take it lightly, because it will change your life.
Am I getting any kind of malevolent or, like sinister? Obviously, he's asking me for oath of servitude, which is ultimate slavery in this land. So it's like,
I would say it's fair that you're not picking up on any type of malevolence or sinister or trying to deceive you. He is putting forth a very serious tone in that this is a grave is kind of has negative connotations, but in the non-negative sense, this is a grave decision, something you should take seriously. He is earnest. He doesn't seem to wish any ill will or anything of the sort, or to take advantage of you.
Yeah. Friend, if I wanted to think about something as serious as this, which I believe one should, and I wanted to get back with you on that, would you be reachable? And within obviously a timely manner. I currently there's a lot of I forgot a lot, and I don't want to give you bad information, and I don't want to, But if that were the case, I wanted to find you again after thinking about these amazing offers. Where would I find you?
Well, I planned on staying in the city for the next day, and then traveling to the next major city. I hear it is called Mitros. So I was going to depart in the evening time tomorrow. Anytime until then, until essentially the moon sets, you should be able to find me. Well, I hear there's an amazing vineyard not far from here, so I'd probably like to spend my time there and be closer to nature.
Very well, very well. Hey, by the way, if I said that someone was going to be renewing the Order of the Dragon Lords, how would that make you feel?
I don't know what a Dragon Lord is.
Oh, you're not from these lands at all.
No. The land I come from, let's just say it is very, very different.
Okay, the vineyard then. Yeah. Perhaps we'll see.
Feel free to keep the fiddle. You play it remarkably. I have another.
I thank you.
I hope to be seeing you.
Maybe.
And with
Take care.
that, you hear Euron calling out for you, and her voice catches your attention. You kind of duck and look over your shoulder.
Oh, God, crazy bitch.
Euron, you saw him talking to this satyr, and someone passes in front of you, and as they pass in front of you, the satyr he was talking to just has seemingly vanished, and you see Lycus for a moment looking over his shoulder. You two lock eyes. You glance back over at the person you were talking to, Lycus.
He has gone without a sound. What are you doing? Continue on to the library, going somewhere else? I'm just trying to
I'm on the
keep
library. Oh yeah.
Euron's got her hands up. It's just sort of like the calm the fuck down. Like her face, she's not saying. She's sort of saying, I guess, say, Lycus, calm down.
Just looking at her all weird and shit. Like, I'm going to the library. Go away.
The librarian is mad at you right now.
Oh, I walk in the library. I don't know what this crazy broad
For
is.
sake, I'm going in.
Oh my god,
right.
this crazy bitch is following me.
This is
Alright.
genuine. This is side note, just because I'm curious. Has he genuinely not put together? Oh, the Medusa I've been traveling with and the Medusa in my room are the same person.
Possibly. But he hasn't fully put it together because ultimately he doesn't know. And it's like, I just don't know.
Lycus isn't exactly known for firing on all cylinders.
Whoa! I mean, maybe his stories were very one-sided and maybe excluded some person's major contributions, or you know, whatever, little things. But clearly,
He
the
definitely
library-
started to write down like what happened to Euron.
Oh, absolutely.
I remember that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Oh,
But you are still acting like a crazy-ass broad that he knows nothing
I'm
about.
deaf.
Look, hey, you know what? We all gotta live with our disabilities in life. I'm just saying.
Fucker. I'm following him in just like, okay, I need to make sure he
Oh my
doesn't.
god, she's following me.
Ina, give me an insight check.
A dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
A few times when you feel like you have gained an advantage on him, this dragon, he has, instead of breathing out the fire, which you are starting to learn to dodge, at least some of the time, he has breathed out this strange, almost invisible vapor that strikes at your strength and seems to sap it in some way. All right. So, Cyanus, you wrapped up with Kraos. You were in the tavern. Lycus and Euron are in the library. Ina is unconscious. You all have the scene. You're all split up. What are y'all doing?
Presumably, Cyanus saw Lycus leave and Euron just giving chase. Presumably.
It depends on if Lycus left out the back door. There's a door that goes directly into that room
Oh, yeah.
for Ina to come in and out.
No, I would have gone straight out the front door like, this bitch crazy. I'm out of here. I'll be back later.
Okay. So yeah, you noticed that as they exited while you were talking to Kraos, Cyanus.
Alright, so before I go head off after him, I want to go find just like a town guard and just have him like watch over Ina.
Okay, easy enough. There's several. They have doubled up the guard in the merchant area, the agora, because everything is going on, and you are very recognizable. They'll kind of do basically whatever you say, as long as you're not asking them to hurt themselves or their family. So yeah, they just yes sir, we'll do. Ching, 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 ching. Walk in there.
And then I'm just gonna head towards the library.
All right. So now Lycus, Euron, and Cyanus are in the library. The rows and rows, a tall rows of new and ancient manuscripts. The very, very unsettled gnome, seeing Lycus and Euron bust into the library, seems to be in a tizzy. The marble floors echoing with the steps and whatever else you're all doing around you as sunlight filters in through the very large windows. What are you doing?
Erasing the tablet and just kind of spinning Lycus around, holding it up, and it says, I'm Euron, you daft tit.
Don't give a damn.
I can lip read
grab
it.
her
You know what
tablet
you
and go,
said.
Go away.
And then I just go over to, I like spot Euron and Lycus, and I'm just like, fine. Walk over, put my, tap her on the shoulder, and I'm just like, just follow me. Yes, we'll stay with him.
I slink away to go find the librarian to find more stories about me.
Are you trying to write down something?
Yeah, she starts writing, saying down. She was starting to write down, "Are we taking him with us?" And then realizes Lycus is gone and just goes, "Bye." The librarian is mad at him, trying to help, does not know who I am.
All right. Let me go. I can keep an eye on him. If he starts doing anything like he did last time, I'll stop him.
Was talking to man Sata, who disappeared. You talk to him. He doesn't like me. And then erase, and I want to read about next labor. And she's gonna start going into the stacks.
I'll take the slate from her. I'll be like, research whatever. Will find you.
Take the slate back. Gonna stow it in the bag. And I'm gonna go into the stacks, and I'm gonna see if I can find the section about Xander Horath.
Okay. I think this is probably a really good time to take a break, right? All right, we are back. So, I hope you're all back too, and ready to play. When we left off, Lycus and Sanus were in the library. Ina was in a seemingly eternal fight for her life, picking up some tips and tricks in her very Dragon Ball Z Piccolo-ish mind fight. Wonder where I got the inspiration from. And
Nice.
I love Dragon Ball Z, whatever. And Euron was headed off to research things about the necropolis of Telemark for their Telemark for their next great labor. So, you have the scene.
Yeah, Euron's just slowly going down the rows and kind of roughly remembering, like, okay, this is where I found information on the forge. Is it here? Forge, furs, giant, no, wrong way. And just, yeah, trying to find what she can. Just Dragon Lords, then eventually Xander Horath, the Necropolis, Telemark, Daemon, Gatekeeper, just making keyword searches and just going.
You got it. Investigation check.
Oh god, please.
Lycus and Sanus?
I'm browsing the nonfiction section, just looking for myself. Heroes.
Give me an investigation check.
Got it.
I rolled a 16.
Okay. That's 1. I want you to keep track of these, okay, Euron?
9.
9. Okay. Unfortunately, nothing that has your name jumps out immediately. So
The search continues.
you going after Lycus, I believe, Cyanus, you find him kind of perusing among the many books and scrolls in a kind of off the beaten path corner of the library. Ina, give me an insight check.
10.
Okay.
It's a library. It's quiet. We're supposed to be quiet.
It is very quiet.
Euron has no idea what's going on. She's...
You okay, Austin?
Yeah, no. Like, I'm just trying to think.
Okay. Lycus, give me another investigation check. Because Cyanus seems to be caught up in the moment and not exactly sure how to approach the situation.
Just in the corner, just twitching.
A 1. Okay. You do, in fact, find something about Ina, which is very strange.
Oh. That's that horse lady I know.
It is. It seems to be have hastily written in the common language, rudimentary, poor grammar. Is on a piece of parchment that has a sigil of the city of Astoria. It seems to have come from, well, it seems to have the same sigil as the Astorian guards do, and it refers to Ina glowingly as the warrior goddess, and that she approached me in the dead of night for a favor, and I was struck by her power and grace.
I throw it aside as garbage. I look down at it, and I'm like, no, she might like to see that. So I reach back down, I brush the dirt off of it, I pick it up and put it in my bag. I'll read it. I'm not here for her, but, you know, it's nice to know that there's a fan club for you.
You got it. Also, FYI, I don't know if you can see it, your camera's kind of autofocusing and blurring. FYI.
I don't know why.
Just letting you know.
Okay,
Oh,
now
look
it's
at
back
that.
to normal. It's sound activated.
Should I
Alright,
be
so
doing more investigation rolls, or?
No, just one for you.
yeah, alright, so I'm going through the aisles. I finally find Lycus. I'm just like, fuck are you doing?
I'm looking for a book. What are you doing? I paid your lady. And you.
Uh-huh. I'm guessing you still just haven't put 2 and 2 together, like, at all.
Put what together?
From your writings.
Well, yeah, I'm not looking for that. I'm not worried about that. I'm looking to see if there's anything about me in here.
Uh-huh.
Oh, why is it so hard for you people to just let me be? I'm so curious. I had a terrible nightmare. I was forgotten about, and I wish to see if there was literature on me. I have tons of literature within my bags telling these grand deeds and stories of adventures you, I, and the rest of us have all done, and I simply wish to see, is it in the public library?
Well, Lycus, let me bring up this point to you. We've only been together doing this stuff for like, let's say it's about 2 weeks.
Is that accurate, DM?
I mean, that's roughly accurate, right?
Oh, yeah, 2 to 3 weeks is good. I was thinking maybe closer to 3, but 2 to 3 weeks is fine.
2 solid, 3
Yeah,
questions.
easily 2 solid. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay.
I'm sure somebody out there who knows better than me can correct me, and I'm fine with that.
Maybe
I would've said
maybe our
6
person that does the
years based on
recaps.
I would have said 6 years based on the level of or the rate of our levels, but you know.
Yeah, that's fine. On the bright side, next time you guys long rest, well, everybody except Lycus is going to level up. So, anyway, carry on.
So anyway, yeah. So we've only been together for like 2-3 weeks. Do you really think anyone can write a book and get it in this library in that short of a time?
I'm sorry. It doesn't have to include you.
Uh-huh.
I'm just curious if there's any books about me. That's all. That's all I'm here for. What? Look, I'm just trying to figure it out. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Maybe
I've
we
got
should have
stories.
just left.
I got stories that I know I have penned by me.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, there should be others penned by others.
Yeah, maybe I should have just left you in that fucking cave.
I was in a cave? I don't recall writing about me being in a cave.
Yeah, because you turned into a stone. You probably wouldn't want to remember that. No.
Oh, I was entombed within a statue. Oh, someone really must have liked me if they took all the time necessary within 2 weeks to build a statue in my honor.
Yeah, sure. That's what happened.
Entombed. A memorial? Entombed in more. You know how it is. I'm sure I struck up amazing pose or something.
Anyway, our friend was telling me you were talking to someone outside.
Yeah, some satyr guy. Hey, look, he gave me this. It's called a fiddle. A fiddle. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Watch this. And I just immediately start hitting it in the middle of the library.
I guess. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, you're right. I'm so sorry. My fault. Okay.
If you want to play that, we can play it in the tavern later tonight. Okay?
Yeah, no, he was just asking some questions. It was a funny looking satyr. I mean, funnier than
Us.
Well, I'm not funny. I was gonna say that Lorius fellow, but sure, if you really want to be roped in with him, you and Lorius. But no, yeah, he was just asking me some questions. He says he's a stranger to the land, and he said he would trade some information for some stuff. So, he just seemed like an information broker. Is what he sounded like. You know, whatever. Everybody does what they can to make a dollar or a gold, excuse me. So, yeah, I was talking to a satyr.
She was saying, she was trying to motion off that, like, he seemed off. He kind of just disappeared.
She has snakes in her head. How much more off can one get?
I mean, they can be there and then not there.
The snakes can be there and then not be there?
No, someone can just be, like, gone.
Yeah, it's called invisibility spell. Or sneak away, or simply walk away when one's looking elsewhere. I walked away from her, and I'm not a big spooky man. Although I am quite amazing at the spirit prose. Look, I don't know what to say, alright? This guy, crazy broad's following me, you're following me, I'm just looking at the damn library. Alright?
Alright, well, look. I'll leave you to your search.
Thank you. I will meet you back at the tavern, which is apparently our meeting headquarters / clubhouse.
Yeah. Hopefully next time I see you, you'll actually have some gears turning.
I have my gear on right now.
Oh my god.
Euron feels a disturbance in the force.
All right.
Right. And then I'm just gonna go track down Euron and see if she's like noticed anything so far.
Okay. Euron, another investigation check. Ina, another insight check. Euron fails.
9.
Ina fails. Okay, so you can find her relatively easily. While you were searching Euron, you heard this very twangy, quasi-musical note that was interrupted
Did I?
suddenly.
How'd she hear
No,
it?
you did not. But you did see, as you were looking
He
for
felt
these
the
books.
vibration of that magic, boy.
Yeah, that's right. It was such a beautiful note. It pierced your deaf ears. Now, I fucked up. But you did see from the other side, looking at these books, a book kind of got thrown a little bit towards you, like it was forced out from the other side. And then you see the gnome on the other side Her face contorts in a twist of anger, and her feet scurry off to try and find something. So you come back around the corner. You see Euron looking around at books, also kind of halfway confused, looking over her shoulder. Cyanus.
I motion to her like, can I help?
Have I found anything?
You have. Let's see. What did you find? Un momento, por favor. You found the location of the necropolis at Telemach. It is base is as good as you can reckoning on the map itself. There isn't any distances drawn, but it's relatively representative of the area. Okay, you figure it'd probably take somewhere between 1 and 2 days to get there. It is situated in the Mithril Mountains, almost directly to the west of Astoria, but it looks like it's kind of between two mountain ranges, right? So you have to kind of go over some mountains and then go down to a little bit of a canyon between them to get there.
Now I've probably got the map. I'm looking at it, and I'll get the slate and I'll just write, I can do books, you can talk, find old people.
And then I'm just gonna go into my bag, give her some parchments so she can just like take notes on anything that she finds.
Names the mountain ranges, a rough kind of take this road, go over mountains. I know we'll love this path. It looks dangerous. That, give him a thumbs up, and actually also add, Lycus okay? Still stupid?
I believe the term is amnesiatic.
Amnesiac, yeah.
His brain no do good.
I don't think shit. I don't know things. Like, but she'll just okay.
All right.
Okay, so aside from kind of reaching out and researching for the third great labor, is there anything else that you all would like to accomplish over the remaining period while Ina seems to be recovering or unconscious? Okay.
I feel like we should at some point go health potion shopping.
Okay. That's fine. You can do that before she wakes up or after, whatever, doesn't matter. We can abbreviate that very easily. So, it would be about 5 days. Lycus, you come to your senses and regain your memory while you're staring up at these books in the library, and you hear that very, very feisty gnome librarian quietly but hurriedly looking for you.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh. I can't get the fuck out of here. I just, like, all the books I had pulled down, I just kind of, like, leave them where they are. In fact, I grab one and I throw it across the entire lane. Be like, I need to make a sound because librarians hate fucking sound.
We
It's
do.
like throwing a steak to the dog.
Yeah,
So
we
I'm
do.
gonna hum this book. It is probably like the Gilded Life of blah 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 blah, and I just hum it across there, and I fucking skedaddle out the left turn at Albuquerque.
Duran probably sees a book at the edge of her vision. She's just like, what the fuck is that?
She has an uncontrollable urge to follow it.
So, we'll say
That's
that...
Arya, not Euron.
We will say, for the interest of brevity, that Cyanus, who did you go to find?
I'm going to go find Aesop first.
Okay. Essentially, shortening it up, he lets you know that yes, he knows very much about the necropolis at Telemach. He was living in Astoria and was very aware of what was happening when it was being built and who's there. He's happy to help you. So just let him know whenever you'd like to chat. He heard through the grapevine from some guards that there was something wrong with the Heroes of the Prophecy. So if you wanted to wait for Ein to get up, you can do that, or you can talk to him before then, whatever you want.
I'll go ahead and just talk to him. Well, when you say that there's something wrong with us, isn't there always something wrong with a misfit group?
Okay.
But no, we're good. A little bump in the road, but we're good. So about the necropolis, I'm sure someone as old as you, all due respect, I'm sure you've heard of the curse.
The curse. What curse are you referring to? I may just be confused in knowing it by a different name.
Apparently, if you go into the necropolis and disturb certain sites, you're supposed to have like some curse befall you.
Oh, you speak of the curse of the grave robber. That is not something particular to the necropolis. But yes, there are many sites there that are consecrated and would, in fact, inflict the curse of the grave robber if those tombs were disturbed.
Okay. Next question. I know it probably wouldn't be near this easy, but would you happen to have a list of names for the consecrated ones?
It's not hard to figure out, actually. But yes. I feel like you're looking for any potential dangers and are considering going to the necropolis to investigate or take things, which would make sense with the prophecy.
I mean, yeah, we kind of do have to go there.
So I'm happy to give you this information, but let me just kind of give you everything I know.
Okay.
The way there, through the Mithril Mountains, is very treacherous. There are steep cliffs. Once you get higher in the mountains, everything is constantly covered in snow and ice, and the cold can be a challenge for some individuals. The road is well maintained, but nobody really travels it because the only ones allowed in the necropolis are those who are dragon lords or have been given a rite of passage by the dragon lords, as signified by an item of theirs, such as one of the ancient coins that
I go into my pocket and I'm just like, oh, you mean like this?
Just like that. Kira told me you had received such a thing. So you should be fine passing through. Damon would keep you out, but looks like you have that covered. I can get into more detail about the history of why certain graves are consecrated and not, but I really think that's something that the entirety of the group should hear in case they have any questions. Suffice to say that the original 5 Dragon Lords are interred there. Of those, 3 were consecrated upon their burial. Those 3 being Xander Hurath, Adonis Nurdagon, and Rhizon Phobos. If all you're looking for is information about whether they're consecrated or not, then I can give you that, and I can also tell you of the other consecrated tombs if you would like to know more about them. Maybe why they're consecrated, I'm happy to tell you that as well. since you will be going up against some of their foes, it may be useful, it may not. It's up to you all. I don't know how much time you have. There are many other tombs there. Dragon lords, their descendants, things of that nature. Isidore Hurath, her tomb is consecrated. Who else? Nicholas Phobas. His tomb is not consecrated by the five gods, but it is said that because of what he did, he is blessed by Sidon. So I would tread lightly there as well. As far as the other tombs, I would caution against disturbing them simply out of respect for the dead, but I am not in a position to tell you what to do, since you are the heroes of the prophecy, and I believe will be the next Dragon Lords to lead us through this time ahead.
Alright. Let's put a pin in this conversation. Let's pick it up in a couple days.
As you wish.
Sorry, just out of character. I think that was the lightning.
Oh, yeah, we had storms come through earlier. So, are we ready to time jump? I'm gonna get some investigation checks from you, Huron. Fast forward to when Ina wakes up. Is everybody good with that? Okay, so it's gonna be 5 days. You already rolled for the first day you're on, so give me 4 more investigation rolls.
Okay. So that's a 12, a 10, a 14, and a 3.
Okay. So, you discover in an abbreviated history of the First War, a manuscript that talks about how when Rhizon Phobos defeated the Legion of Minotaur, Xander Hurath, in return for their aggression and fighting, cursed them to forever guard the necropolis at Telemach, so that they would, in effect, serve him for eternity for their transgressions against the civilized peoples. Alright. So, I need 4 insights checks from you, Ina. 4 more days of sleep.
Hey, if I
Okay.
wanted to go talk to that guy, I know she's rolling. But what
Go ahead, babe.
When would you want me to do it?
We'll cover it before she wakes up. That's fine. We'll get the rolls out the way.
Okay, I rolled a 16, 2 15s, and a nat 20.
Okay, good thing you rolled a nat 20. So, the final thing you learn is that no matter where you strike, how hard you strike, what kind of weapon you seem to strike with, they all have very limited effect. And even when you summon all your strength to attempt to grapple this thing or inflict some sort of dazing blow against it, it seems to be able to shrug such things off at will. In effect, it has legendary resistance for X number of times a day, and it is resistant to non-magical weapons. Okay, so, Lycus, you have the scene.
She's still sleeping. I think I want to go meet my satyr friend.
Okay. You are acquainted with the vineyards. That's where Theracles lived. You find your way there through the town. When it doesn't really matter, but when are you going to see him? When did you decide
just
to
when
go?
nobody's really gonna miss me. Just like I got an errand to run. I don't know, like midday, like I was gonna go to the markets, kind of thing.
Okay. As you enter the vineyards, the familiar sights and smells come over you. Children playing off amongst the olives and grapes, and you hear the very familiar sound of that strange instrument, the fiddle, over the breeze. You follow it forward. He's kind of tucked off underneath an olive tree, slouched back, playing the fiddle, eyes closed, not a care in the world. He doesn't seem to notice you approach.
I start playing. I pull out my fiddle and join him.
His eyes open and he nods, and you start playing harmoniously for several minutes. And he stands up and really starts getting into it, and faster and faster and louder and louder.
Oh, I start like high stepping, like tapping it. Like we get it on.
Kids scurry around. They start dancing around you in a ring fashion, holding each other's hands. And then when you've finally exhausted your musical energy for the moment, they all clap and cheer and throw grapes at you in celebration, and then scurry back off to playing hide and seek and tag and everything else they're doing. So, you have come to see me. I hope this is good news.
I would imagine so. I have decided to take you up on a few of your exchanges, as they are, that you were asking about. I think, sharing some information would be beneficial in exchange for what you're providing. Unfortunately, I do not believe an oath of service would be acceptable, so I will have to decline on that front. But I'd rather be upfront with you than not.
I expect no less from someone as free-spirited as yourself. And just to be clear, my offer is you can pick one item, and then you give me the commensurate amount of information or favors for that one item, and then I try to find somebody else to barter with the other items.
That's correct.
Alright, so what did you decide, fine sir?
Well, my greatest fear is for people to know, excuse me, you see, where I came from, my tribe was massacred, if you will. And I was supposed to be on watch that night, and, well, instead I had decided to escape with a female friend of mine to a local town, lots of wine and drinks and culture to embrace in. And that was the night that my tribe was massacred by goatlings. And they came from the approach that I was supposed to be on guard for. So because I chose to dilly-daddle and fling and drink in my merry way, I am in essence responsible for the death of all of my people.
That is indeed horrible, and thank you for sharing that. I have learned a great deal about you and satyrs in this land. Just to be completely official, let me cast the spell and keep everyone honest. And you see he hits 3 or 4 strange off-key notes, and it almost like a little spark comes off of the strings. Were you out of character? Were you telling the truth?
Oh yeah.
As far as that was your deepest, darkest regret secret?
That I can recall from all the sessions that you and I created. Yeah, I know we made a lot of stuff, but that's like the number one thing I could think of where he blames himself for not doing his duty and more or less being responsible for what he feels the shame and guilt that if he had been on post, he could have saved his people. Yeah.
That's fine. Your truth is whatever you say it is as a character. I'm just asking you. That's fine.
Okay.
All
My
right.
deepest, darkest secret, I may not be as hot as I think I am. And women may not love me as much as I think they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Easy enough. So, as the spell resonates throughout the area, he watches you intently for a moment, and then he smiles lightly. Well, you are still alive, so that means you were honest and forthright with me, and I appreciate that immensely. This was in exchange for the Pearl of Power, yes?
Yes.
As you have it. He reaches into the satchel, Hands it up to you on his fingers. Holds it out for you to take.
I take it.
I hope you will find great use with it, and our path may cross again.
Well, I believe there are more. Correct?
More...
Yes, all the 3 in total.
If you want to give me one piece of information, then the Pearl of Power is what you receive. If you give me 2...
Oh,
then...
no, I plan on all of them.
Okay. Well, then
All 3 of them.
I would require the Pearl of Power back, and then in exchange you would get the heart. So, well, for 1 favor, you get the pearl. For 2, you get the studded leather glamorous armor, and for 3, you get the anthrus harp. I'm sorry if I confused you, sir. I'm, again, not accustomed to the language in this land, and I'm doing my best.
Out of character. If he goes with 6, would he be able to get all of them? Like, no, like, I'm genuinely curious.
That is not the deal he is offering, no.
Okay.
Well then I guess I'm going for the harp.
No, the pearl, good sir?
Yeah.
Hand it back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Son of a bitch, I thought it was like 3 magic items, baby!
So, the second favor then, your 3 happiest memories.
Oh, well, coming off of that wonderful sadness, let's see, singing with my mother. She was of a phenomenal talent with her voice, and she was the best damn singer in all of our tribe, and I do recall fondly the memories of standing beside her and singing along. I do miss them since her death. The second thing for me would be whenever we were traveling the caravan, we would always come across some fascinating new lands and cultures and cities, and I really just love just embracing in new lands. You know, it's just something about new places and new sights and new smells. My third happiest moments. Well, there was a lady from my tribe who has stolen my heart, as humans would say. And I would have to say with full truth that it was, laying in her arms and just holding her softly. That would be my greatest moments.
I would not expect this of you. Your open character does not belie these truths very easily. You hide them well.
Yes, well, she's not really around, and, when the love of your life is gone, you seem to find other things to do.
Very well. And since I confused you earlier to make certain that we are understood, if I cast this spell and seal this transaction, you do understand that these memories will become my memories.
Not forever. Wait, like they're ours. We're sharing them. I'm not giving them to you.
No, you give me your memories in exchange for this item.
Damned it, you...
I have not cast the spell yet. You are welcome to back out. But yes, you will lose these memories and I will gain them so that I can recall them at will in perfect detail.
No. You cannot have the memories of my mother. You cannot have the ones of my love. You cannot have my childhood. I'm sorry. I misunderstood your words and your promise, and I have given you my darkest secrets, and you may have it wholly. Because that which plagues me and keeps me up all night, I give to you freely, good sir.
As much as that is appreciated, it was simply the act of telling me it and having the humility to do so that granted you the pearl. So if that's where you would wish to stop, then that is where we shall stop.
Well, shit. Well, then I will take the pearl, and that shall be it. I thank you for the greater offers, but I cannot part with those memories. They are what is most precious to me, and I'm sorry.
Again, you have taught me a great deal about yourself and the satyrs in this land.
Well, what's this about a dragon, though? What about that part? I do recall something about a dragon slighted you somewhere, and perhaps is that on the table for an additional something?
The tricky part about that is that I do not know if you will ever go to the Island of the Dragon, but I may be persuaded to let that take the place of the memory favor if you would instead vow to actively pursue this goal and destroy this dragon who insulted me so.
Oh, no, definitely not. I am not hunting out a dragon. Although, if he happened to be attached to the cult of Sidon, and he happened to have a rider whose name eludes me currently, Gaius, then perhaps I would voluntarily slay that motherfucker for you.
I like you,
Does
Lycus.
Gaius refer to anything?
No,
that you,
unfortunately it does not.
Yeah, no. Okay, thank you. I think I'll take my pearl. But I cannot seek out a dragon to slay without knowing that there was something that needed to be done. If this dragon were terrorizing the towns, the cities, massacring the people, a evil that need be brought down, perhaps. One such being that dragon rider Gaius, the dragon that bears the rider Gaius, I would say that probably needs to be put down. Unfortunately, it could be a dragon of well-renowned, savior of people, and without that knowledge, I'm sorry, I cannot give you an oath.
Well, if it matters, it may not, but if it matters, the native people of that island, the elves who live there, are consistently terrorized and destroyed by this dragon as well. At least that is what they told me.
I'm good. There's too much unknown. Thank you, sir.
It was my pleasure, and it was an honor to meet you, Lycus, and I wish you very well and hope to see you in the future.
Absolutely.
And hand you back the pearl.
I pocket my pearl of power.
Picks up the fiddle, begins playing again. Alright, you leave the vineyard, return to the Dragon's Tooth Inn. Alright, so fast forward, it has been 5 days. Aina, you awaken sometime mid-morning or so, the 5th day after, vividly remembering everything you went to. You have died 1,000 times. Everybody else, you happen to be sitting around because it's most convenient for us. You happen to be sitting around in the room discussing things. Lorius is there, just kind of drinking wine by himself and enjoying your company, seemingly. You hear a small gasp escape from Aina, and her eyes flutter open. In your room in the Dragon's Tooth Inn. You're up.
Oh my god, you're alright.
Yeah, that was a crazy dream, but yeah, I'm good.
I know, you've been asleep for 5 days.
What?
Yeah.
5 days.
Why didn't you wake me up?
We couldn't.
We tried.
Oh my
We tried.
gosh.
I even backhanded you, and nothing.
Well,
It was like slapping a fucking wall.
You see his knuckles are still slightly bruised a bit.
sorry about that.
5 days later, they got a nice blue on them.
Oh man.
No, Lutheria was not pleased with us for having slain Cerberus. She cursed each of us in our own ways. And yours was a nice long nap, apparently.
Oh yeah, mine was great. I got to die 1,000 times, fight the same dragon, fight the same battle over and over and over again, and never win. It was fantastic. But I did
I'm
learn
sure.
some things, got lots of practice. So I think we can be better prepared when we do face dragons the next time. So Lutheria can try to trip us up, but I think she did me more good than she intended to.
Silver linings.
So like Ina will try to stand up, probably feeling very stiff, might not make it, fumbling
You're-
around like a newborn deer.
Offer an arm for her to lean on if she starts to wobble.
I appreciate that. I desperately need to stretch.
Wanna
So
go
what
out
happened
the
to you
pasture?
guys?
Nothing of note. I'm,
Lycus
just-
lost his memory for a day or so.
I got the
for a
shakes.
minute.
Got the shakes.
I went deaf for 3 days.
And annoyed the shit out of everybody.
Why do you think I spent so much time in the library and not talking to anyone? So I wouldn't have to scream at you when... Because I thought that was somehow my normal volume.
Isn't that the only way to get through to Lycus, though?
Hey,
It wasn't even working at first.
hey.
I can't read lips, but I know when someone's insulting me, and you tried to... I think you thought I had slept with you, and you were trying to pay me for my services?
I don't know. No, absolutely not. I was
Lioness, that's
throwing
right,
money at
isn't
you
it?
so you would go away because you were scaring me at the time, and I didn't know anything about you. You were scaring me. I'm sorry, but money usually solves those situations when a crazy broad is on you.
I apologize for scaring you.
Apology is accepted. I thank you.
I was just worried. I didn't know what was going on. First, I was worried you were going to leave.
Yeah, to the library. I was definitely leaving.
That was before the library incident. This was before you even read your stories. What?
So how does the City of Astoria fare?
It's better.
Yeah?
My dad came through.
No kidding.
Yeah.
He hasn't left yet, by the way.
Pops is still around.
Oh, okay.
Would we have met Pops?
It's up to Cyanus.
Science, would we have
I
met
mean, he
Pops?
probably would have came into the tavern at least once. I mean, he's a satyr.
No,
Dude's gonna drink.
You've definitely seen him around town. It's just whether or not he's been giving
He's been
you your
busy.
space. He's been busy. He's been giving you your space. He's not coming to you. He understands the kind of person you are and vaguely understands what you have going on. And he also has his things going on. So he's happy to see you, but he's not pushing any type of interaction.
Well, I mean, I saw him the other day whenever I was gonna go talk to Aesop, but we just said, "Hey, how you doing?" And then went our separate ways back on our business.
Do we know if Vulcan and the
Sounds
dwarves
exciting.
went to the forge?
I believe they were on their way.
Yeah, it should be there now. It was, half a day. Hey, maybe our entire armory's already been created. Fantastic.
Hopefully, actually, at some point, would we have given down the skulls?
We can wrap that up and say yeah, so we don't go back 5 days worth of stuff that happened.
Yep.
You went to check on Vulcan and them, make sure they were gone. They did leave. They have been gone for several days. Him and it seems like a vast number of the dwarves from the copper mines. You did run into Dan at the tavern. He came in, had a couple of drinks. He was very, very concerned about Ina, but happy to hear she was at least alive and hope she recovered soon. And you did exchange these skulls from the Mithril Forge to him. He was very appreciative, tearing up. He gave you how many skulls did you get?
Wasn't it
5.
50?
It was not 50. I'm pretty sure it was 25. I just want to make sure.
I think it was 25.
Yeah, I think it was
I remembered there being a 5 there.
Yeah. 25. So in exchange, he gave you 250 gold for your trouble.
Okay.
Oh.
Adding
wow.
up.
And he, of course, even though everybody's already buying you drinks, he made it a point to buy your drinks for the rest of that night and the next night when he was there. You received word that by this point, the previous day, you would have received word that the dwarves were able to clear the remaining troglodytes and death dogs out from the mines, not without difficulty or casualties, but relatively well. They found some other items, clearing out all the rooms and restoring it, and they are going to be sending you a disbursement of money that they were able to get for filling those items. It's not there yet because they haven't sold them yet, but that's their plan. So that should be coming in sometime, hopefully soon.
Oh.
So, any other questions? Okay.
I think we're good.
The other day when I was talking to Aesop, I'd say I told him that I'd bring you guys back up to him whenever Lionel woke up. So you guys are up for it? Want to
Yeah.
chat?
Yeah. Let's talk.
I'd love to walk.
I did not get as much information out of the library as I hoped. I got a map, and apparently there are a lot of minotaurs guarding the necropolis.
Oh boy.
Oh, those are going to be exciting.
Apparently punishment left over from Xander Horath. They're to guard the necropolis for eternity.
Well,
Or
Harsh
their
punishment.
transgressions.
Oh, shitty for them.
Yeah. Also, yeah, and that was by, oh god, because they were defeated by, oh god, what was the name? Rhizon
Rise on Phobos.
Phobos. Which, there's another name I didn't know.
I think Aesop said something about maybe someone that was related to Rhesus. I think it might have been like his brother Nicholas or something. I don't know. He'll tell us more whenever we get
Yeah. Let's head there. Maybe we can pass some food vendors on the way because girlfriend is starving.
there. He's so hungry she could eat a horse.
It looks like I did.
Oh, I love deadpan jokes. That's awesome.
Well, there are these amazing buns that will pass by on the way. I'm pretty sure they've got meat in them. I've been smelling them every time I've walked to the library.
That sounds perfect.
Alright. So, your name, even with the traveling merchants, your name and reputation precedes you. Anything you want of reasonable value, food, sustenance, minor trinkets, is free. So you can just kind of walk up and people are throwing things at you because they want you to eat from their stall so they can say the heroes of the prophecy ate from their stall.
Yeah. I eat from everybody's stall. Finger food.
By the time you arrive at the Dragon Shine, you are very gassy and bloated like us, but otherwise very satisfied with the food you have eaten, considering you ate from every stall. Yeah, great day.
I will do my service, and if there are any stalls manned by particularly lovely-looking women, I will go to them first, and then be as charming as a Medusa can be.
Okay.
Or more specifically,
give me a charisma check for fun while you make your way to the Dragon Shrine.
Yeah, or more specifically, she's sort of she's doing it for the gays. She has to. That is let's see. It was just straight charisma, right?
Yes.
That's a 19. That's the best charisma she's rolled this entire campaign.
Well, you're getting better. So there are 3 lovely ladies, and out of the 3 of them, you're able to successfully engage in conversation and flirt with 2 of them, despite what you assume would be an unusual and possibly even frightening appearance. But time is pressing, and so you realize you probably should not dawdle, and you catch up with the rest of your group on the way to the Dragon Shrine, making a mental note of the ones that you were able to chat up a little bit.
I'm just walking and eating like I still got it.
Alright, so as you enter the Dragon Shrine, you see Aesop there. He seems to be in silent prayer in the center of the main chamber. There is an acolyte over to the right-hand side, snuffing out some candles. It looks like some ritual was performed recently. With a nod, he escapes the room off to one of the side corridors, and Aesop turns to you and greets you all. Welcome, my friends, and very, very glad to see that Aina is alright, in fact. I'm sure Kira and everybody else will be overjoyed to hear it. What can I help you with?
Sienna said you were gonna speak to us once we all could assemble.
Oh, about the necropolis, of course.
Mhm.
If you have a moment, are you looking for the abbreviated dangers and pitfalls, or would you like the full story so you have an understanding of a relatively unknown history for your future adventures as well?
I would appreciate the history. I'm aware that some talking to some that might be a bit painful for you to remember.
I appreciate that, but I'll be fine. It's been a very long time. I've come to terms. Alright. Well, if you have the time, pull up a chair, and I will tell you what I know.
I'll stand, thank you.
As you would.
She's just trying to remain stable.
Is that a horse pun?
Of course, it's a horse pun.
So, he grabs his glass, and he sits down in front of you. I believe to understand what happened during the First War and all these things that have come from it, and your path ahead, it may be best to understand where it began with the arrival of the Dragon Lords. If you will indulge me, I will explain all of this to you. As I understand it, and please note, this is not just my own first-hand information, this is also information I've been able to largely verify from the more reasonable acolytes of Lutheria. The things that make sense. Sidon and Lutheria ruled supreme over this land, worshipped and honored by the Gigans and centaurs, nymphs, and other fae. As the centuries passed, what became known as the civilized races, humans, elves, and dwarves, and etc., began to stumble across all these islands at the farthest reaches of what we know as the Forgotten Sea. The first to arrive were refugees and castaways, survivors of ships gone astray through the maelstrom. Half drowned, they crawled onto island shores and carved out a meager existence among the native fae races they encountered. Sidon largely ignored these newcomers. They were too weak and pathetic to acknowledge. Lutheria, however, found something intriguing in their nature. When others came, the explorers and the settlers, she held back Sidon's fury and allowed them to land safely so she could better study these strange people. As their numbers grew, the civilized races established small villages along the coasts, and bit by bit they spread across the lands of Thylia until their numbers brought them into greater and greater conflict with the native inhabitants. At first, the civilized races were suffering great losses whenever they encountered the Fae folk, but they had neither the strength nor numbers to challenge the Gigans or the centaurs in battle. They lacked the power to resist the magic tricks and temptations of the nymphs and dryads and satyrs. But everything changed with the arrival of the Dragon Lords, the band of heroes who fought astride great winged mounts. Their leader, as most people know, was Xander Hurath. His mighty silver dragon Balmitria was a sight to behold. Their second in command, Xander's chief rival, was Rhizon Phobos, who rode Balmitria's mate, a great bronze dragon. Joining them were Adonis Nurdagon, beautiful and vain, the brothers Telemach and Esther Archelander, savage and ruthless warriors. Several others are said to have come with them, but Either they fell early or were otherwise unremarkable, as they have largely been forgotten. Each warrior was oath-sworn to their dragon, and together they proved to be nigh unstoppable in battle. The arrival of these new magnificent creatures stoked Lutheria's fascination with the newcomers. The dragons were unlike anything found in Thylia. At his sister's urging, Sidon ignored the pleading of his worshippers to cleanse Thylia of what they considered to be invaders. Under the leadership of the Dragon Lords, the civilized races entered an age of unprecedented expansion. Villages became towns, and towns grew into great walled cities. Encounters between the newcomers and the native races became more frequent and more violent. Now, these newcomers were winning. The native races were pushed back, retreating into the unexplored wilds they had long since abandoned. Still, out of respect for his sister-wife's curiosity, Sidon held his contempt in check, waiting for what he considered to be an inevitable spark that would ignite the fires of all-out war so that he could unleash his wrath. Of all the Dragon Lords, the brothers Telemach and Estor Arcalander were the most ruthless and savage, and Telemach the Elder dreamed of being a great king. He offered his protection, and that of his dragon, to any who would swear allegiance to him. He promised a future in which the civilized species had utter dominance over Thylia and the native Fae creatures. Mortals of all races flocked to his banner, and he built fortresses and walled cities to protect his followers from attacks, the foundation of what would one day become the great kingdom of Mitros. The ranks of his armies, led by his younger brother Estor, swelled enormously. It is said that for Telemach, war was merely a tool, a way to build and secure the future of his people. Estor, however, cared very little for the future. He had no desire to rule or govern, and his only joy was bloody battle. Most, including his dragon, thought that he was a brave hero seeking the glory that comes with such war. The truth, however, was far worse, for war was the only way that Estor could satisfy his bloodlust and cruelty. His victories on the battlefield meant nothing beyond the chance of slaughter and carnage. As Telemach's kingdom grew, it expanded into Gigan territory. Knowing the one-eyed six-armed giants would not welcome outsiders, he commanded Estor to lead his army against them. In Telemach's mind, his brother would break the Gigan ranks and force the giants to bend their knee. Estor, however, had other plans. Riding in on his dragon, he led the charge that routed the Gigan forces once and for all. The giants fought bravely, but they were no match for the Dragon Lord and his mount. Once they knew the battle was lost, they threw down their weapons in surrender. Estor refused to take prisoners, and refused to parley. To the horror of his dragon mount, he ordered his troops to massacre every single Gigan warrior. And although the Gigan threat was gone, Estor was not finished. He pushed his soldiers onwards to the towns where the Gigans lived. Their warriors slain, the remainder were now defenseless. Estor's dragon begged him to show mercy, but he was deaf to her pleas. His army massacred mothers and children, the old and the sick. Only a handful of Gigans escaped to warn the other Fae folk of Estor's atrocities. The unbridled slaughter revealed Estor's true nature, and his dragon abandoned him. But the consequences of his action stretch much further. Seeing the slaughter, Lutheria finally recognized the threat the newcomer posed to what she considered her children and her dominion. She released Sidon from his vow not to harm them, and with his fury finally unleashed, Sidon gathered a great army of fey creatures and led them against the civilized races that had butchered the Gigans. Sidon meant to drive the invaders into the sea once and for all, and with that, the First War began. At the beginning of the First War, the civilized people won many great victories. Led by the Dragon Lords, they ran rampant over the armies of the Titans. The children of Thylia could not stand against the great dragons and were routed time and time again. The armies of Gigans and Centaur prayed to Sidon and Lutheria for aid, crying out to the twins to save them from extinction. They begged the Titans to destroy the dragons so that they could meet the civilized races in equal strength on the battlefield. Sidon and Lutheria heard their laments and joined the struggle. The tide of war turned in favor of the native races. Even a dragon cannot stand much chance against a Titan. Whenever the dragons took to the skies, Sidon lashed them with raging winds and blasts of lightning, forcing them to the ground, where they became vulnerable to the wrath of Lutheria, who assailed them with her wicked scythe and deathly magic. Many of the dragons were lost. Some others fled. But the silver dragon Balmitria knew that Lutheria and Sidon would eventually find them all. In her final stand against the tyranny of the Titans, the silver dragon threw herself heedlessly against them, tearing and clawing even after suffering numerous mortal injuries. And when at last her energy was exhausted, she collapsed to the ground dead, and the twins spat on her corpse. But Balmitria's death ripped a hole in the very fabric of reality that rippled throughout the multiverse. Inspired by her sacrifice, 5 celestial beings answered her prayer and came to Thylia to protect her people. These beings are now known as the 5 gods, who we still worship today. The 5 pledged themselves to protect the civilized races and restore the balance of power. An uneasy truce was brokered, and has created the peace that has lasted for the last 500 years, which is now threatened to end. So perhaps it may make more sense why the tombs of Xander Horvath, the leader of the Dragon Lords, widely considered noble and respected and admired for his bravery, is consecrated by the gods, and that of Adonis Nurdagon, although vain and not particularly powerful, he was wealthy and loyal and provided great benefit during the First War. And Rhizon Phobos, a skill and ability comparable to Xander, although a little more hot-headed and tempestuous, was still held in great esteem for defeating the Minotaur legions almost single-handedly. The only 2 of the 5 original Dragon Lords that we remember, Telemach and Estor Archelander, are not consecrated by the gods because of their actions and the consequences thereof. The 2 brothers are also interred in the necropolis, and their lineage still thrives today. Acastus Archelander, king of Mitros, is of their line, as was Lysis Archelander, the king of Astoria, the last Archelander king of Astoria, who Pythor overthrew because he had devolved into a mad tyrant who cared nothing for his people and mercilessly executed any who disagreed with him. There have been other Dragon Lords since the First War. If you are interested in learning about them, I am happy to discuss them, but I know I risk being long-winded. The only ones, as I told Cyanus, who are consecrated of the future Dragon Lords, the ones that came after the original ones, is Isidore Hurath, the granddaughter of Xander. There were 2 leaders of the Dragon Lords in between the time of Xander and Isidore, but Isidore did take on the mantle of leading the Dragon Lords, and in that honor, she was laid to rest and her tomb was consecrated. The other notable one that is starkly different is Nicholas Phobos, one of the line of Rhizon Phobos. He ruled and died in Mitros, and he was the very last Dragon Lord. By then, the Dragon Lords had become corrupt, as power often does with all things. As a symbolic gesture of peace, he swore fealty to Sidon, and earned the blessing of the Titan. And as such, the Order of the Dragon Lord ended with him, and the Order of Sidon given life. They modeled themselves after his example. The fact that he was a Dragon Lord earned him passage and rest in the necropolis of Telemach. The only other individual that you may encounter there is Damon, the chief advisor of Xander Horath during the First War and the most powerful wizard of his day. He guards the entrance to the necropolis to make sure that people would not defile the tomb and steal from the noble people that he knew and served with and loved dearly, those who gave their lives to protect the civilized races. He lost his own family in the First War and still fought to protect the settlers. Even in death, he protects the tombs. I can't think of much else to impart, but I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Does anyone else feel with the sudden desire to, if Estor and Telemach Arcalander were suddenly to come back to life, to punch them as hard as possible in the nuts?
Nope. Not at all.
It's also that we might need to keep an eye out while we're there. As if that man who was begging in the agora I imagine he's gone now. But I think he had tried to sneak in the back, didn't he? That man who he robbed one of the graves, one of the consecrated ones anyway. So hopefully no one else tries to sneak in while we're there, but it'd be good to make sure we're aware of it. Will Damon talk to us, out of curiosity? Or is he just a guard?
I must be honest, I do not know. I've not visited since the time when Damon was alive. As I said, much of this is first-hand information, but of those that were interred there after the original 5, it's largely second-hand knowledge and manuscripts I've read and things of that nature.
Anyone else have anything?
You said that Minotaur guard this area as well, or was that somewhere else and I'm just misremembering?
No, I read that in a book once.
The Minotaur.
There was a text in the library that says something about how after Phobos defeated the Minotaur, Xander cursed them to also act as guards around the necropolis.
Yes, he did, to punish them for their atrocities against the civilized races. They're not so much Minotaur as undead vestiges of Minotaur. As they die, they are reformed as undead to guard the necropolis from would-be thieves and transgressors. That entire tribe carries that curse to this very day.
But since we have the coin, Will they leave us alone? Or
That
will they
I
be
am
an
not
issue?
certain of. As far as I know, Damon is the one who protects the legitimate passage into the necropolis, making sure those who are worthy are allowed access. I believe the intent, speaking with Xander briefly, almost 500 years ago, was to have the cursed Minotaur guarding the other ways in, the unofficial ones.
I see.
Now, what has come to transpire between now and then, I am honestly not certain.
I suppose we'll find out.
Yeah. That map you found, how far away is it from here?
There wasn't really a marker of distance, but perhaps you would know. Is that?
This time of year, assuming normal temperature and snowfall, you could make it there in good time, approximately a day and a half's journey. A day would get you up to the highest points of the Mithril Mountains, and it would be quite cold and possibly dangerous depending on your personal abilities. In the winter is almost a 3-day journey because the snow extends much further and clogs many of the more convenient passages along the road.
Well, looks like we might need to go take a trip down to the market, see if we can find some nice warm coats.
Absolutely. Thank you for everything you told us.
As I've said before, it is always a pleasure and an honor. I hope your journey takes you in a path that can set right these arrogant charlatans who call themselves Dragon Lords.
I hope
Well,
so.
I have much praying to do for you and those others. Mitros expects me to talk, even though she never answers. You know where I am if you need anything else before you go or after you come back.
Is
Godspeed with
Honora
you.
still here?
She is. We have moved her out of this main chamber out of respect for her privacy, and we were getting quite too many onlookers. She is in a very comfortable room in the back, still in the same stasis she was when you left. Oh, he gets up and goes and, depending on the individual, shakes your hand, touches your shoulder, hugs you, whatever you would have, and wishes you luck again and escorts you to the door. So, brave heroes of the prophecy. What now?
Shopping trip?
Shopping trip.
Yeah.
We gotta get prepared for whenever we go in.
All right. The Agora is still in full swing. All the same, the wide assortment of merchants. Almost anything you could think of is probably available. And you all have very reasonable prices. Is there anything in particular that you are each looking for?
Perhaps at least some scarves, something warm, something put over the head for the little ones up here, and some maybe some blankets for the night. Both Euron and Lycus need new bedrolls
Okay.
because they went up in flames.
Give me a timeout real quick. Josh, are you okay? You look like you're having allergies or you're really tired or something like that.
Yeah, I'm having really bad allergies right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm very out of it.
You
Yeah,
need
no worries.
It's hitting me really hard. That's all.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I understand that. No, you're good. You're good. I understand that very, very well. I would like to propose, if it's okay with y'all, that we put a pin in it here. You know, since Josh is going to be out of it, that was a really good narrative stopping point. We can handle any shopping in between sessions, and then you guys can pick up next week with the next leg of your journey or talk. There's plenty to talk about. We still have Kraos in town. All sorts of stuff's going on. So
Much.
we are going to stop there. Let me kill Sirenscape so I can tell everybody how much I love you. And I know I don't just speak for myself. Players, as always, thank you. Viewers, thank you guys for hanging out with us so much. Friday night, it's been a great transition. See a lot of familiar faces and some new ones. It's really heartwarming. I hope you enjoyed tonight's session. It was very different from the last couple ones, which was awesome. A very welcome break. I had a lot of fun the whole time. So with that, we are going to sign off for the evening. I hope everybody has a great weekend in this very tumultuous time. I hope that you're all happy and safe and keep taking care of each other, and that we see you in Discord or Twitter or on YouTube or wherever else that you feel like you want to engage with us. We are more than happy to engage with you there. So until Sunday for Fantasy Crafts at 8 p.m. Central Time, or Wednesday for Mastering the Dungeon at 9 p.m. Central Time, or next week Friday at 8 p.m. as always. We love you. We'll see you then. Have a great night. Thank you so much. See y'all next time.